Hey guys, it's Kasim from QMA and this is the Roku 4. So before talking about the internals of this box, it's clear that this box is really big compared to previous Rokus. In fact, I think it's actually the second biggest cord cutting set-top box you can buy right now. It's only second to the NVIDIA Shield, which is a really powerful set-top box. So yeah, this thing is definitely monstrous if you compare it to even the Fire TV 2 that just came out that also supports 4K. It is definitely bigger than even that. So yeah, this thing is definitely huge. So what exactly does this box have that makes it so big? Well, for starters, the wireless has been upgraded from the Roku 3. So in the Roku 3, it didn't have the latest wireless technology. So the Roku 4 does support the AC wireless technology. It's dual band, so it supports 2.4 gigahertz and 5.0 gigahertz. 2.4 gigahertz and 5.0 gigahertz. Having the option for both is really important because many items in your house can take up the 2.4 gigahertz frequency, such as just turning your microwave on can affect your internet. So having a 5.0 gigahertz wireless frequency for the Roku is really important. So then even if you have like a bunch of different internet connected devices being used on the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi band, it won't affect it as much on the 5.0 gigahertz. So that's definitely important. It is important to note that even the Roku 3 has the 5.0 gigahertz, but it's not the AC wireless, which is a lot faster than previous generations of wireless technology. Theoretically, the AC wireless can get faster than the Ethernet that's on this. The Ethernet that's in this Roku 4 is 10 by 100, so it can go faster than 100 megabytes per second, but that is in optimal conditions. So it is still better to put the Ethernet in, but having this wireless technology, the AC wireless technology, does help a lot of people who cannot connect every single Roku to their actual wireless router. So what really sets this box apart, this Roku 4, from its previous iteration was the fact that it introduced 4K playback. So this thing can play back 4K at 60 FPS or 4K at 30 FPS for like YouTube videos and stuff. So yeah, it can do that. It also plays 1080p just fine, just like the previous ones, and it can upscale to 4K on your 4K Ultra HD TV. So even if there aren't that many 4K movies or videos available right now, it can still upscale your 1080p videos to 4K. Obviously, it's not going to be the same as having a 4K video playing, but it is better than 1080p nonetheless. So in terms of audio, this thing supports up to 7.1 Dolby Digital surround sound. So the Roku 3 and previous ones at most was up to 5.1, but this one, either through HDMI or the optical audio output, can support up to 7.1 surround sound. So that's also an upgrade from previous iterations. And then of course it has that button on the top which will allow you to find the remote if you do ever lose it. I made an unboxing / first impressions video. If you guys want to check out the demo for this, definitely go check that out. But it is pretty cool. I tested it out. It works like it's supposed to. And it might come in handy if I ever do lose my remote. And finally, this Roku 4 is quad core compared to previous iterations, specifically the Roku 3, which was only dual core. So theoretically, this is supposed to be faster. So now let's just get into the actual performance of this Roku 4. So in terms of navigating the actual menu, the Roku 4 does seem a tiny bit more responsive. And I think the only way you'll actually see that difference is if you have both the Roku 3 and the Roku 4 side by side and just testing them out. But honestly, it's not that big of a difference. You could live with the Roku 3 just fine. It's really fast as well. So yeah, in terms of the responsiveness, it was negligible at best. So moving on to app performance, compared to the Roku 3, there was not a bit of a difference at all. Actually, I found the Roku 3 to be a little bit better in terms of performance because the Roku 4 bugged out a lot. For example, on my Sling TV, I did notice that the quality dropped quite a bit, and then I also had audio desync issues, and the screens would start flickering green and stuff like that. I'm not sure if this is just me, but I do see that the Roku 4 is a little bit buggy, and I think most of my problems came from live TV viewing, because I also have an app called Ball Streams, which live streams basketball games, and I had similar issues where the Roku would just not be able to keep up with the game, and it would constantly buffer, constantly stop and freeze. Just in comparison to my Roku 3, when I was using that, I had that maybe once a week, but with the Roku 4 I had it several times a day easily. So yeah, there is definitely something up in terms of live TV viewing on the Roku 4. To me, it feels like Roku kind of rushed this product because the Fire TV recently came out with 4K compatibility. The Apple TV is coming out, which people will buy regardless of its non 4K compatibility, and because Christmas is coming up, I guess they wanted a product out pretty soon. But in my opinion, they might have rushed this. Even OS 7 doesn't seem to be a big improvement. I did say the menus were a little bit faster, but that could easily just have been because of the quad-core processor compared to dual-core. So yeah, the OS 7 also seems a little bit buggy to me. So in terms of the Hulu and the Netflix app, they seem to work fine. I wasn't able to test 4K, unfortunately, because I only have a 1080p screen. I will be getting one pretty soon, hopefully, so I'll be able to test that out. But yeah, I did notice that in terms of Roku 3 and Roku 4, 1080p streaming is fine. They both seem to work perfectly. So yeah, I didn't have any problems there. But then also I didn't get to test 4K. So yeah, the Roku 4 does support 4K, and it does have upgraded Wi-Fi, and it does have a quad-core processor, and it does run a new OS 7. But even with all that new stuff and new technology, it still seems to negligibly affect the actual real-world performance compared to its predecessor, the Roku 3. Like I said, I have both, and to me the Roku 3 seems a lot more stable, even though it may be a little bit slower in terms of real-world use. It's very negligible, and the fact that the Roku 3 actually works 99% of the time, it's definitely a really nice trade-off. So I'd say that the Roku 4 I predict it to be getting a lot better as it gets updated through Roku's system software updates. But at this point, being an early adopter, I don't think you're gonna expect too much of a boost compared to Roku 3. So if it was me, if you have a 4K TV, just go for it. Even with those live TV issues, they are getting better. So I did test this throughout a couple of days, so I did see the performance getting better. So if you do have a 4K TV, just go for it. Hopefully by the time you get it, it will be ironed out, all those bugs. But if not, if you're going to be holding on to that 1080p screen for quite a bit, just go for the Roku 3. There's not much of a difference, and you can always just hardwire your Roku if you do have Wi-Fi issues, and it works perfectly fine. So I'm not going to give this a score. I'll just give some pluses and minuses on the screen, and you guys can judge for yourselves. But me personally, I think I'll just hold on to it in hopes that they will fix most of these issues through software updates. I hope I don't have a loud fan like most people are saying on like some of the Amazon reviews. So yeah, I guess I'll just hold out for some update to fix and iron out most of these bugs. But if you haven't purchased this yet, I'd say go for it if you are invested in Roku's ecosystem and you do have a 4K TV. But if you're not seeing yourself buying a 4K TV in the next 2 to 3 years, I'd say just wait for a better Roku, or just get a Roku 3 because it does everything the Roku 4 can minus 4K. So yeah, that's my review, and hopefully I can keep you guys updated when Roku does update the software. And thanks for watching, guys. Alright guys, thanks, bye.